Is this mic on? Good evening. I want to call to order the April 28, 2026 Williamsburg Meeting Board of Education with the roll call from Roger Faulkner.
Kim Williams,
Here.
Donnie Patrick.
Here.
Kim White.
Here.
Alan Steele. Roger Faulkner, here.
The pledge by Donnie Patrick.
Right there. Ready? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand for a moment of silence, please. As we welcome you. Thank you. Seated.
The first item on the agenda is the approval of meeting agenda and minutes. Approval of the April 28, 2026 Board of Education, Board agenda. Do we have any deletions or changes to that?
Yes, I would like to propose to the board to move action item number 3 to the May meeting. It has to do with student attendance and medical excuses, and Ms. Reed, our student success coordinator, and I will spend some time diving into that, talking to our school administrators, and then speaking with our board attorney before we make any changes. So if you're okay with that, I'd like to move it to the May meeting.
Are there any changes? Any? And also approval of the regular scheduled March 17th board meeting minutes. Were the corrections
Yep,
made?
the corrections were made.
All right. May I have, if all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Do you have a
And the-
motion? Did anybody make a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not take a motion. Oh, Kim made the motion. And a second?
Second.
Okay, sorry. Do I need to go ahead and take the vote again, Paul?
Please.
Okay. All those in favor of the approval of the April 2026 board agenda and the approval of regular March business board minutes, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Nay. No nays. So that is, it passed. The next thing on the agenda is the staff and student recognition. Ms. Housekeeper, April, going the extra mile awards.
Okay, so because we've had a couple of changes in our board meetings, we've had a couple of additions, and then we've taken them away, added them to May, so we've had a couple of changes. So we're gonna have a boatload of student celebrations for the May meeting. But for tonight, this is always my favorite part of our board meetings, getting to celebrate our staff, and I say this every time, but I love the Going the Extra Mile Award because our staff nominate each other for this award, and I love that, and I always read exactly what is written about you. So the first Going the Extra Mile Award is for Miss Michelle King. So come on up, Michelle. So Michelle, I'm going to tell you what your peer said about you. It says, I would like to nominate Mrs. Michelle King for Going the Extra Mile. I was very overwhelmed and nervous about the activity account for JAG. Not to give it away or anything, who wrote it. When I started in my new position this year, Michelle has gone above and beyond to answer all questions, guide me, and ensure that we are doing things by the book, the Red Book. I appreciate her willingness to share knowledge, feedback, and suggestions. Anytime I email, call, or go by her office, she always has a speedy response and is helpful. She is a smiling, positive light and does an amazing job in her position. I would have been lost without her this school year. She's been a tremendous help to JAG and has helped ensure that the funds we have raised have been used to benefit students. I truly appreciate the time and effort she puts into her job. So I will say also, Ms. Powers is the one who wrote this. She actually stopped by today, and I could hear her out there saying, well, Michelle said this would be a good use of the funds. And so what I want to say is I commend you for, number one, being the positive Polly for our district. I mean, you're so easy to talk to, but also doing what's best for our kids. So I appreciate you. Here's your award. You probably have a few of these by now. Thank you. Okay, and the next Going the Extra Mile award is for Miss Ashley Harrell. Come on up, Miss Ashley. By the way, this person wasn't brave enough to put their name, so you're going to have to guess. I would like to nominate Ashley Harrell for Going the Extra Mile award. Not only does Ashley serve as our infant to 5-year-old Save the Children coordinator, but she devotes her time to the principal and assistant principal secretary and running multiple parent booster clubs for youth sports. Ashley is a vital member of our family who deserves to know how much we all appreciate her. I would say you do a little bit of everything. Weren't you on like some kind of shopping excursion today, trying to help out kids and his staff and Miss Parton? So I really appreciate you. Delivering lunch. There you go. Look at your friend Donna.
Thank you. Oh,
Or sister, whatever she is.
cousin.
Cousin.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The next item on our agenda is the special speakers. The first one would be Shad Allen, our financial auditor.
Yep.
Yep.
My voice will be carried anyways, I'm not sure if this is on or not, but, so this is, Darrell's Q3 2025 audit. We're now up in almost, well, we're past the third quarter of 2026, almost through the month of April. One of the reasons for the delay of this audit compared to prior years is the OMB compliance supplement, which is put out by the federal government, was delayed this year. In relation to that, the Kentucky Department of Education, they did an automatic extension of the audits through January 30th or 31st, I should say.
When was it originally due? Early November or December, or used to be November?
November 15th is typically
What,
the,
November 15th?
November 15th is typically the deadline.
So we're a year behind,
Yeah,
okay.
so the state came out because of the delay in the federal government. Their original extension, was automatic through December 31st, and they came back out and said, no, we're gonna give you guys until January 31st, get those out.
Ours was dated March 11th. Okay, just checking.
March 11th is the date of the report. Okay. So those were the dates from the Department of Education. I'll just go over a high-level overview here of the audit, and then if there are any questions, then feel free to ask at the end. So with your all's audit, there are 3 parts to the audit. There is the independent auditor's report. That's the first section, starting on page 1. And that audit is the same audit that will be provided to any entity that is receiving an audit. And the purpose of that is to determine if the financial statements are presented correctly in a material fact. Once an opinion is given on your all's financial statements, then the financial statements can be presented to a third party and can be relied upon by that third party as long as a favorable opinion is provided. So the financial statements for the 2025 year received the unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of opinion, sometimes also referred to as a clean opinion. So, once that is provided, it's given, then the financial statements can be distributed and relied upon by the general public, of education, bondholders, basically anybody else besides those who performed the financial statement. So, the second section, or the second audit in here is what we refer to as the Yellow Book audit. So any entity that receives governmental funding is subject to the Yellow Book audit requirements. Part of that audit, the purpose of it is to determine the internal controls over financial reporting, if they are designed appropriately, and if they are operating effectively. If there will be any issues with those, then we would issue findings to the school districts if there were any weaknesses in the internal controls, in design or in the operation of those. The school district did not receive any findings this year in regards to the Yellow Book audit, which is the same that has been previously too. The final part, or the third report, is the OMB compliance audit section, which will be page 73 to 75. So that is similar to the Yellow Book audit, but it is only for the major federal programs, the federal awards that the school district expends. Whenever an entity expends, and this is changing, but it was $750,000 in federal monies, now it's $1 million in federal monies, and they are subject to the single audit that we refer to it as, excuse me. So the internal controls over those major programs were designed appropriately, and they were also operating effectively. Once again, there were no findings as part of that or as part of the entire audit report package. So overall, a very good job was done by the district. We received information timely. We had some internal issues also within our firm that did further delay the report, but we did get that out, dated March 11th, as you said. One of the things that we've seen throughout the state, throughout school districts, is that there have been decreases in funding, extra monies ended, which caused issues too. But the best tool to use within a school district, within really any entity, is the budget. The budget is approved by the board, and then throughout the year, it can be monitored. And as long as you are within those lines, then there will not be any surprises, or there shouldn't be any surprises whenever you finish your year. The budgetary comparison schedule for the general fund is on page 52. So one of the problems that we face with several school districts is what's referred to as the on-behalf payment. So on-behalf payments do not flow through the district, they flow through the state. But the school district technically is still responsible for those. So per generally accepted accounting standards or principles, we have to record those in the financial statements. If they're budgeted or not, can throw off the budgetary comparison schedule throughout the year or at the very end. So as you'll see on page 52 at the bottom, there is an asterisk there. That asterisk explains that the payments that I was just referring to, on behalf payments, were budgeted, but there was a difference in those. So whenever you have that difference, when we start saying, okay, well, there were some expenditures that were larger than what was budgeted, well, was it technically that, or was it because of the on behalf payments? So, $500,494,266 to be exact, was part of the reason for the difference in the budget, which would have left $222,000, almost $223,000 of expenditures in excess of the budget, which overall is not a large percentage, but that does cause some issues whenever you're trying to review throughout the year and say, well, are we actually on target or not? So if you begin your year and you have that large budgeted dollar amount in there, you're not gonna be able to really track your budget as you go along, because those expenditures and revenues they're not actually recorded until the very end of the year, whenever you're provided the information from the state to record those. So that's just part of a suggestion that I've been having with the school district is those on behalf payments, whether you're budgeting them or not, just be aware of it. It's totally your choice, but just throughout the year, monitor your budget as you go along, have those targets, and use this as the tool that it is. But that's my spiel on that. But once again, overall, it was a very good audit. If you have any questions, feel free to.
I got a couple of questions related to transportation. Some of us have been on the board too long, me being one of them, but during my tenure of give or take 20 years, there's a few things that's occurred that we've not seen, I haven't seen or recall. One of those was related to transportation. We allegedly paid, the state took away from us several $100,000 because we in the past had done something Superintendent more defined why. But in your every audit from 23 to 25 that I've played with, you mention a different percentage and call it continued insufficient funding of the state transportation formula. Currently in the year 24, it was 55%. This year, maybe 52% or 57%, but it varied from 52 to 55 to 57%. Tell me what that means to us, because we paid back because in the past, allegedly, we're overfunded with it. So what do these percentages, for example, the, 50 that you say we were
Which page are you referring to?
underfunded by X%? What does that mean?
Which page are you referring to, sir?
Well, there's several pages. Let me tell you. I don't know. The June 24 is on page 10. Continued insufficient funding of the state transportation formula currently at 55%. In 23, the percentage was 55% again, and then I think we got to another. I guess what I'm asking, what does that mean? I mean, what is underfunding? Underfunding to me means they didn't pay us enough, but yet we had to pay them back. So I didn't know what it meant.
So page 4 through 10, that section of the report is actually the management discussion and analysis.
That's what?
The management discussion and analysis.
Yeah, budgetary implications is
Correct.
what it is, yes.
Yeah, so that section is not what is from us as the auditors.
Right.
It's actually from the management. It's not audited. It just,
I understand. That's good to hear. You didn't audit it because we did. But what, can you tell me what that means, or can Dalton tell me, or can the super tell me what?
That's what I was trying to actually explain there is, that section I would defer to Dalton or to Mrs. Housekeeper.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's from them, that part of the report is.
You wanna tell us real quick, just so we'll know what that means?
Transportation issue?
Huh?
The transportation issue?
Yeah, the 55% continued insufficient funding of the state transportation formula, and it varied from 52 to 55%. What does the 55% mean?
The state gives us an unprorated allocation for what they could fund us for transportation, and then they give us an actual total. And over the years, I've got it pulled up right here, in '23, we're only funded 68% of our transportation.
How much?
68.
50, but what's that 58 mean? I mean, what does it mean in dollars? What does it mean?
The unprorated that they could fund us for that year was $327,657. And they actually funded us $225,439. So they give us an unprorated, it's in their seat calculation.
Explain it to me in numbers. You saying we should have got 300 and something, we got two?
If they funded us fully at 100%, we would have gotten the $327,657. But they only funded us $225,439, which is 68.8% of what the transportation fund could have given us.
And yet,
But
that we'll never get that money, but we had to pay them back for money we
No,
over,
no.
I don't follow that.
that issue came, from a seat transportation error in the 21 or 22 year. The seat transportation.
20 through
board said
22, I think.
21, 22.
that year. So the following year, their growth factor, when the numbers were put in correctly, I think it was the 23, 24 year when I came in. Our growth factor went up 1,700%. We got overfunded for that, but we budgeted for the numbers that the state gave us on that overfunding. And then the last three or 4 months of 24, 25, they said, we caught this error from 21, 22. We're pulling $417,000
Right.
back.
Yep.
So that.
Now, I'm asking you, 24, 25, I mean, you just said, I heard in my ears, you said they could owed us 300 and something thousand and only paid us 200 and
That's
something
our monthly
thousand.
seat payments.
That doesn't mean anything, what?
That's our monthly seat payments. So seat comes in every month, and it's broken down between regular seat, tier 1 seat, and transportation. The transportation portion, if they funded us at 100%, they said we would be funded at $327,000 essentially. But the state is only gonna fund us 68% of that at $225,000. So that's broken down among 12 payments that come in on the 4th working day of every month.
Okay, but here.
But it's a
it said-
statewide issue.
But it
That's
says-
statewide.
Okay,
When I
but I
first
mean,
came in,
but what does our 55, 52% mean? Does that mean that's what they underfunded us?
Yes.
By those years,
Yes.
and yet we owed them?
Yes,
We owed
correct.
them and they
Yep.
underfunded us?
Yep,
Right.
absolutely. You're right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, not really.
Not
Not
really.
really, but
I
yes.
came in and I went to those finance trainings that all the finance officers were up on, that they keep saying they're gonna fund us at 100%, but they never do. And it's jumped up in 26, I got that right here. For this year, it's jumped up to 81%. So we're allocated an unprorated amount of $334,553. They're only funding us for 81% of that, so we're only getting $271,247 for transportation.
And with the new legislative session, it did not pass to fund us more than that for transportation. It did not pass. So that is statewide underfunded transportation.
Yes, it's across the board.
Okay. I guess the first thing that I have is that the fact, and I understand the situation with the government, but, you know, which we got what, call it May and June, 2 months to look at what has happened. Whereas if we had known about it at the due date original, we could have maybe done some things differently, not being aware of some things that happened in 25. Now, did the 417 go out in the 25?
Yes,
Same time the bus
Yes.
went out in 25?
yes,
Yep.
Okay.
yep.
So that's $500,000 off our fund balance. We're
Yes.
down like 800,000 on our fund balance, so, and we're down in cash, you know, several thousand. it's not your fault, but
Yeah.
the state ain't gonna help us.
Right, you know, those types of things also with the budget, just having a good budget during each board meeting, during each board meeting, monitoring that budget, getting good financial information, which you have been presented, from what I've seen throughout the year with that financial information. You know, because those numbers that were presented at those times were also what we have in here in this audit. We're just
Okay.
verifying those numbers, it's basically what the audit's doing in the end. Timeliness is a very big thing, and I do apologize for that.
No, I know. One other question, there's been some questions about, some funds prior that we did not get. And my question to you is, first of all, my suggestion would be, this is in early 2021 or two. So all of us were on the board. I think at that time, it had been mentioned to go back 10 years, which would include everybody on the board. My question is this: would any of these funds that we quote didn't get affect, we started out with like $1.7 million at June, 30 of 20, would have been, June 30th of 23, and they came in, the new crew came in July 1, well, didn't, because they couldn't get them there, but came in at that time. Would those non-received funds have a bearing on what's happened in the last 3 years? How's that for a good question?
He's talking about federal funding. So with ESSER
Doesn't
funding.
matter where it came from, I'm asking him. Would it have affected anything
Are you
that we
asking me
did?
or are you asking Dalton?
Huh?
Who are you asking, me or Dalton?
You,
Me? Well,
in your experience.
which?
I mean, we
yeah,
start with a balance that you got, I
Right.
mean, that's
So-
there, and that balance
Non-received
was more
funds.
than any amounts we'd ever seen in our lifetime for those of us that
Yeah.
have only been on the board
Yeah.
20 years.
So the non-received funds, I would actually need more information on what you're, referring to on that.
Well, if we didn't get it and we're not gonna get it, that's my question. How would it have affected the 3 years we've just had? 24, 20, 23, 24, and 25. If you don't get it, I mean, I know it's not set up as receivable. I'm
Right.
not saying that, but I'm just
Yes, it
saying,
is.
what effect could it have had? It would have probably been spent by now if we'd known it, wouldn't it? But that's a different story.
That's, there's a lot of, the other information for that I would actually need to sit down with you, and I'm fine to do that. But regardless if it is the money that you should have got, that you didn't get, or whatever, that budget, having your budget, having it be accurate, monitoring it is what's going to be key to those issues. Now, if there was some extra money sitting out there and you did get it, well, if you would have actually budgeted for it and you didn't receive it, then you would have been able to see that throughout the year.
All right,
too.
there wouldn't have been any way to budget it because you didn't know it, okay, at the
Yeah.
time, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
Okay,
how can you plan for the unknown also?
sure.
But that's
Well,
also
we never
one of
know
the
what will
budget
happen.
contingency.
I just wanted that to be I've been abused in a lot of ways, and that's a different way for me, and I'm a CPA, so we get abused, don't we?
It happens.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our next special speaker is the Chief Information Officer, Grant Henderson.
As I'm sure most of y'all are aware, we have to submit a technology report to the, a district technology report, so it's called, to the state every year. And this is a plan that we plan to do for anything to do with technology. hardware, software, anything. So this isn't something we have to stick to, but it's something, a guideline. We try to plan ahead for the year. And we use staff and student feedback this year for different forums to try to figure out what our next plan is. A lot of it this year is gonna be just improving and refining this past stuff we've already done. Last year, there was a lot of changes. We had the network update for E-rate where we replaced everything. The state had queues, the email and everything that's how they update or how they log in, so that was a change. Our rooms for communication, that's a big thing. So a lot of this stuff has already changed last year. We're trying to further refine it. So we're gonna keep partnering with data team to provide our computers. One of the big things we would like to do is for our network, we got new hardware this past year. And we'd like to further update the policies for the network to try to keep it more secure and more in line with changes that happen every year. Any questions?
I just want to say that you've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
And you have done an amazing job. I know none of us are fans of rapid identity. Maybe you are. You might be the only one. But no, actually, you might not be because of the amount of tickets you have to solve because of rapid identity. But I feel like you've done such a great job of helping us navigate the waters. And if people aren't aware, the queues and rapid identity rolled out in multiple phases. And we were lucky enough to win the first phase, which was right at the same time we're trying to get school started and we're trying to start rooms. So the beginning of the year was a hard time with technology, and you've done an amazing job. Just want to say that.
Are there any other questions for him? We'll be looking at the approval of the district plan and the action items. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next thing on the agenda is the superintendent report.
Okay, I've actually got a couple of things. Tonight, I know you guys are going into closed session to look at my evaluation and all of that, and I have evidence for each of the 7 superintendent standards for you. And I've also kind of shared, all of our administrators have turned in our staff evaluations. They turned them in on Friday or yesterday, so I'm very excited about that. Actually, Ms. Parton and Josh are going to talk here in just a second about our MAP growth. But also, we were looking today, and I think we have over 400 learning walks in our classrooms. And so I feel like that's huge. I mean, for me, that's progress. When I got here, there are lots of people who said, I've never had an evaluation. And so I'm excited that we've been able to kind of turn that ship so that we're using tools to give our teachers feedback. We can always improve on that, but I'm thankful for the progress we've made in that. So I'm going to let Josh and Ms. Parton discuss our learning update and just talk about our MAP results. We are getting ready to go into testing. State testing is next week, and I would like for Josh to give just a little brief overview of the hard work he's put into our testing plan and talk a little bit about how we've determined our students who need any type of proctor. We've used a lot of student input on that, and I feel like that's a valued system. Actually, just today, someone was asking me if Josh could share how we have done that, and I said, Josh can share, but I can't. I've been very hands-off with that, so I feel like it's been a great success story for our students and their connections with their proctor.
So sorry.
We were going to have this display for you, but that
So
was
I
my
can't put
fault.
this on
I dropped the ball on asking.
Can I
someone
put
to
this
get
on the-
Promethean board set up, so we will print this and give it to you. But we're mainly gonna focus on, we have seen
I'm sorry.
10 out of 12 of our grade levels have increased student achievement, meaning the percentage of students that are at or above grade level in both reading and math from fall to spring. So over the course of this year, the growth that we've seen has been significant. We were looking just today at our winter to spring percentages, and we did see a little bit of a fall in a few grade levels, to be completely transparent, but we saw such great growth from fall to winter that is not to be unexpected in a couple of areas, okay? Because we have seen significant growth, though, over the course of the year from fall to spring. A couple of key grade levels
one do you
who
wanna
had,
go
go
to?
to this one, sorry. Go click fall to spring. Okay. So there were a couple of grade levels, third grade, for example, went from 67th to 89th percentile in their reading achievement,
That's
meaning the
huge.
students who were at or above grade level. We had fourth grade go from 54 to 70. We had our 10th graders 79 to 82. So we're seeing great growth again in that fall to spring data. One of the things that you'll also see in the printout that we will give you is the percentage of students who are maintaining or making growth. And so in first grade, 80% of our students in first grade were able to maintain or make growth from fall to spring. 80% of our students in fifth grade were able to do that. 70%
Yeah,
in
this
third
is
grade in reading.
right now.
So we have seen, again, a lot of growth in not only in the percentage of students who are scoring at or above grade level, but also particularly in first through fifth grade in the number of students who are scoring novice. We have seen that decrease significantly in those grade levels. So that's a testament to how hard our students are working and how hard our teachers are working. And I can tell you that what we are seeing in classrooms is, it's very good. I have seen a significant difference even from last year to this year in terms of consistent, meaningful, and intentional instruction. And so we, a testament again to many of the people sitting in this room and to our kiddos. In math, looking from fall to spring, again, third and fourth grade are two that stand out here. Third grade in math going from 61% of students scoring at or above grade level to 83%. Fourth grade going from 61 to 86%. Our kinder and first grade also made great growth. 46 to 62% of the kiddos in kindergarten in math increased that achievement. First grade, we went from 47th to 65th percentile in students at or above grade level. Second grade, from 38th to 57th. So we're seeing, again, just significant growth in our students scoring at or above grade level. And that's from fall to spring. And then, again, those percentages of students maintaining or making growth in math at, let's see, 4 of our grade levels in K to 5, the percentage is above 70%. 83% of students in fourth grade math maintaining or making growth, 79 in second grade. So again, just really good numbers there. We'll get you guys this printout. I will let Mr. Patrick talk a little bit more about what we've done to intentionally plan for the KSA test, which will start next week. But again, a shout out to our teachers who really, played a huge role in helping make that vision kind of come to life with having the same proctors test our students all throughout the year. And being able to do that was kind of logistically, hard to work in some instances because we do have to share proctors between multiple grade levels here, being in our school. But again, the growth I think that we are seeing, that has definitely made an impact on that. So.
Yeah, and I'll kind of echo what Ms. Parton's saying. The interesting thing about looking at like benchmark data or assessment scores is one thing, but also having that piece, she mentioned bullseye. And really in the last several years, there's been an increase in the number of, let's say, learning walks, whatever you call it, basically where teachers are being given feedback on instruction, and we have that, over time that's increased and increased each year. And so that would also help having observational data to see, growth in instruction is one thing, but then also that needs to transfer into assessment data as well. And so we're very proud of this. The efforts, I think it really went out. efforts of the students and the teachers to see that both ways. So it's kind of nice when you marry any kind of assessment data point, which is a lens into student learning, along with the fact that our assistant principals, our teaching and learning coaches are seeing those same things with their observational feedback. Kind of as Ms. Barton mentioned, testing in a P through 12 building is nothing short of a miracle to take place. A lot of times, school districts have the luxury of maybe just testing in elementary grades, or maybe they have the luxury of testing the high school or the middle school separately. Here at Williamsburg City School, I want to say WISD, we have the blessing and the challenge of trying to create testing environment while allowing preschool for second grade to continue having class while we test grades 3 through 11 using one building, which is, running cafeteria.
Don't forget 9th and 12th.
And
People
ninth
forget
grade,
that they
fun
also
fact,
are struggling to
freshmen
find a
don't
place.
test, and seniors don't take the Kentucky summative assessment. So then you're planning logistically around how do you man the test and all that goes into that. And how do you operationally handle running school and business as usual. And also, how do you make sure that your 9th and 12th grade students have supervision, number one, because we use our entire building, and you can ask the staff, we train almost everybody, if they're walking around, even our custodian, to be, they're not really trained, they're trained to be proctors, but that's more for them to be in shared spaces. And so, one of the things that's really difficult is the fact that we can't really we have to come up with a schedule and an environment that is conducive to really grades P through 12. And all those pieces. And it takes months of planning, and so we have 3 building assessment coordinators that have done a great job trying to organize this. We've had principals involved, but really the highlight has been the collaboration between the staff trying to enact basically, and we call it like name and claim strategy, where they basically, we surveyed students, we let students give feedback on who they would be comfortable testing with, and then we have tried to do the best we can to get those adults, those teachers with those students in other testing environments, like our math testing. And that's
Special ed teachers and our interventionists played a big role in that too, and helping us to get that information from students and really just kind of weighing in on, they know their students best. And so it was a feat, but I think it has been very successful and has paid off in terms of the math testing results for sure that we have seen. So.
right. And, we're rolling into state tests, and, it's gonna be difficult to maybe we'll still have those situations where we won't be able to get every single kid matched. Exactly, because the reality is the Kentucky summative assessment is a different assessment than the math assessment. And so you approach that a little bit differently. And so logistically, it's been a feat for a lot of people, none of which most of the teachers and the staff have done all that. That was just us trying to orchestrate something to kind of build that scenario, because we believe that has an impact on not just assessment, but it's just student learning in general when they're able to connect with their test proctors, and just, especially if they are not being, if they aren't normally interacting with these staff. And so, that's all the compliment to the teachers and those leaders for designing that, and we'll see, and I think that, like Ms. Martin said, that some of this data would hopefully be reflective of that, but also just good teaching in the classroom. And so, as we move into the Kentucky summative assessment, the hope is obviously that transfers. We hope that students have a testing environment that is conducive. We've worked really hard to even think about our big populations, our subgroups, and that's really driven a lot of the planning, because, there's just so many different factors that go into, laying out assessment in our kind of a building. We've talked to multiple school districts, looked at multiple schedules, and looked at multiple, hey, lunch, what do you do when lunch is delayed? What do you do when, what is your all's, this, that, and the other? So we've done that for months in advance to try to get, enough input and enough, idea to create, hopefully, a great testing experience for students. So, questions?
Josh, remind me, we get those results back in the fall,
Yeah.
and then when will we get MAP?
Well,
At
this
the May
map
board
we'll
meeting?
give you- Yeah, we'll give you, this is the map results.
Okay.
I've already got that. I copied it. It's over there in the copier. I think I.
Okay, so you'll give us those?
Yeah, we'll make sure those are provided to you. So, all right, thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your hard work. The next speaker, WEA, Aaron Brock.
So I'll start with a positive note, off what they were saying from the map data. I know that's got us into some great momentum, going into KSA testing. The growth over the whole building from what, I was told, reading and math was just off the charts and great. It shows how much our students have worked really hard, to grow, and it's being noticed by all of us in the classroom. And the assistant principals and the teacher learning coaches have been fantastic in helping us with the data so that we could see that, which has allowed us, I know specifically in the high school, we've had certain days we could rotate groups to refine and work on certain skills that they're gonna need for all these, various subjects that are assessed in the KSA. So that's been huge in helping us, get ready for this, and I have a lot of confidence in what our students are gonna get, and then, we'll start taking this next week. I'm excited to see the results from the fall. Now next, I do want to shift to something that I'm fairly worried about. And I know there's some financial uncertainty at the moment, but there are a lot of, and what I'm hoping is more than likely, very inaccurate rumors that are rampant among the staff and the students, which is, to me, more concerning. I know it's a fluid situation with a ton of factors that are going into it, but I believe giving staff some information on a plan moving forward would do a great deal with relief for us. I'm worried there will be honestly, a mass exodus if something is not put out soon, as people are worried that these rumors are true and will seek employment elsewhere. A message to them is vitally important. We have students telling teachers, and this is true, by the way, in class, that they're being fired because the school does not have the money to pay them next year. That's happened in high school classrooms. We also have other school districts that are already contacting. I know high school teachers that have been contacted, that have been told by other school districts that they are receiving a pay decrease, and they're trying to get us to leave. So, I feel like even if a plan is still being worked on, that telling us for sure what is not going to happen will definitely calm our nerves and the stress that we are experiencing in the building right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to persons requesting to address the board. I've been notified that Ms. Bailey Gregory would like to address us.
I just want to go off of what Ms. Parton and Mr. Patrick said regarding our excellent MAP scores. And I'm coming to you with great concern as a teacher and a mother of a student in this building that I do not approve of our KSA schedule. They are asking that we complete the survey, reading part A and reading part B on the KSA in one day. You're asking 8 and 9-year-olds to read 9 passages and answer 40 questions, including 3 short answers. That I just think that is asking too much of our students. And if we truly want our MAP scores to reflect on our KSA data, that we need to separate that. And I've been told that KDE has advised that. However, other schools in the surrounding districts are splitting that apart. And I know for a fact on map testing, students did not have to do any short answers. They answered 40 to 50 questions. It kind of varies based on the students. But that took some of our kids 2.5 hours. In years past, we have done this, and we tested all the way up until bus time. We weren't even going to be able to release kids on time to go home because kids were still testing. So I am asking as a employee here, and on behalf of my elementary colleagues, that we consider changing this schedule to where we are just taking one section a day so that students can have the opportunity to show their best work, which I think you will see that if we do that. I think you will see excellent scores. These kids have busted their tail this year and worked really, really hard. And I'm super proud of my kids, and I want them to be successful, and I don't feel like we're setting them up for success with this schedule. And it's my job as their teacher to advocate for them, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Thank you.
Who is
Thank
in
you.
your chain of command? Why are you bringing that to the board? Since the board has no say in any of that I know of. I don't care, it's good to hear it.
I'm
I
bringing
really
it to,
don't know.
I have asked this already last week at a staff meeting, and expressed my concerns. I got emailed today with a new schedule that was worse than the previous schedule, and I just feel like that something needs to be done, and so I wanted the board aware because I know that you all are very concerned about student performance, and we have worked our tails off as teachers, and our students have worked their tails off, and we're showing great growth, and I don't want KSA not to reflect that and something be said about us and our work as teachers, because we have done the work and our students have done the work, and I think that they are capable of showing great scores, but if we don't give them the opportunity to be able to do that in a manner that is applicable to them because they're so young, there's no, I couldn't take a test that long and function. We're asking 8 and 9-year-olds that, you know, and part B of the reading test is your written part. It's a lot more comparing and contrasting two texts, and it's a lot. And I just don't think that our kids will score well. They may do well on part A, but by the time they get to part B, they're going to be fizzled out, and they're not going to care, and they're going to rush through it. So I'm just asking that we please, you know, consider that and look at our students' best interests so that their scores can reflect what they've learned this year, because they have done a great job, and I want that to be said of them. And I want our school to have a high ranking and show that the teachers and students have worked hard, because we deserve that.
We thank you for your concern. Thank you. We ready to move on to the action items?
Oh, I need to go. Hi. I wasn't technically on there, but is it okay?
What do we need to do, Paul?
Just
Yes.
with the speaking part?
Yeah.
My name's Jackie R. Many of you know me. I am the FMD teacher for the high school, middle school area. I'm kind of piggybacking off of what Mr. Brock was saying, as he's upstairs and we're down, with the conversations that have been had. I come to you today as someone who deeply cares about our school, the community, and most importantly, our students. Over the past few weeks, I've seen staff morale in our area take a noticeable hit. There's been uncertainty, rumors, bits and pieces of conversations, things overheard but never clearly explained. And when there's no clear communication, people start making sense of what they're hearing. We begin to fill in the blanks, and that's what starts to make things unravel. Because you don't know what's real, you don't know what's going on, and then your mind starts to go every possible outcome. Is my position secure? Is my class going to look different next year? Am I going to have to start over somewhere else? These questions just don't stay at school. They're following you home. They sit with you at night. They show up when you're trying to lesson plan, when you're trying to be present for your students, your family, and everything else, trying to give your best. You have this overwhelmingly fear that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. As teachers, we're used to carrying a lot, but this kind of weight, the unknown, the silence, the constant wondering, that's different. And I'll be honest, I've been severely overwhelmed. There's moments when I felt physically sick over the last 2 weeks, wondering if I was going to have a job tomorrow based on the information going around. And as you guys know, I love my job. I love my kids. I'm getting teary-eyed. I love my kids, and I don't want to lose that. The hardest part is, with all this, we still show up. We still walk into our classrooms. We still give our students everything we can when we don't know what's happening. And it takes a toll. I'm also here as a parent I'm invested in this school, not just for a few days, but for the long run. I'm in here for more than a job. It's my way of life. The decisions made don't just affect me professionally, they affect my kid, my experience, and our overall future here. I love this school, I love our kids. But right now, I feel like Jacket Pride feels shaken. Not because of our students, not because of the staff, because of the silence that has been allowed to grow without clarity. And I want to say this, I understand there might be financial difficulties. I understand tough decisions have to be made. I respect those administrators and those in the roles that have to work and do the things that I don't want to do. Your jobs aren't glamorous, and you often are tasked with making difficult decisions that impact so many people. But what I don't get is why people who are directly impacted are being kept in the dark. When no one steps forward and says, this is what's happening, we're left to create our own version of the truth. And that's where fear grows. This is where trust begins to break down, and that's when good people start to question their value. Our staff doesn't expect perfection. We expect communication, we expect honesty, and we expect our leadership to stand up, even in those difficult moments, to provide us some clarity. Because when teachers feel supported and secure, they do the best they can, and that is to serve our students. Right now, many of us are trying to do that while carrying this stress that could be avoided with simple, clear communication, and that's not happening. I'm asking respectfully and sincerely that moving forward, communication becomes that priority, that concerns are addressed, and the staff is giving that clarity instead of silence. Right now, we're tired, we're worried, and we're waiting. Because at the end of the day, this is not just about positions or decisions, it's about the people around us. It's about the educators who continue to show up even when they feel uncertain. It's about the students who rely on us to be steady even when we are struggling ourselves. It's about that kind of school that we choose to be moving forward. There's a truth we are living now. When communication disappears, assumptions take place, and assumptions don't create clarity. They create fear, confusion, and division. Right now, we have a choice. We can allow the silence and uncertainty to continue to divide us, or we can lead with clarity, rebuild this trust, and remind our staff why we choose to be here in the first place. I'm asking you to choose clarity. I'm asking you to choose Jacket Pride. And most importantly, I'm asking you to choose us before that silence speaks louder than any decision ever could. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the action items. The first action item is approval of the 2026-2027 District Technology Plan. This is what Mr. Henderson spoke to us about. Do we have any questions? I ask for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes pass it. The second item is approval of the 2025-2026 Amendment School Calendar. Ms. Housekeeper, do you have any comments on that?
This is the approval of our current school calendar with all of our NTI days that we took, and it's just, we need board approval to show that we actually took those days as NTI days, and then we'll submit that to the state.
Do we have any questions regarding this? May I have a motion, please, to approve the amendment to the calendar?
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes carry. Approval of the revised medical excuse form.
No,
I
remember
think
that
that's
one's
gonna be
been moved.
moved. That's
Yeah.
right. That will be moved to the May agenda. Approval of the high school JAG memorandum of understanding for the 2026 and through 2027 school year. Ms. Housekeeper?
Yes, I'm actually excited about this. We were chosen, there's a bunch of people a bunch of different districts that would like to begin a JAG program in the middle school, but we were at the top of the list because of Ms. Powers and Ms. Megan Collins, and we have just begged Jason Miner, who's over JAG, to let us, please let it be us, please let it be us. And so he said yes to that, and so he sent us the memorandum of understanding for middle school as well as high school, so that we have JAG program in our middle school next year and in our high school. So we're really not sure what that's gonna look like yet, but Ms. Parton and I we have to talk about schedule and what are the criteria that are written in the MOU, but it is a way for our students to have access to career paths and job opportunities as early as 8th grade. So I think it's awesome. I'm excited.
Do we have any questions regarding that? This particular action item is for approval of the high school JAG memorandum. May I have a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.
I did want to say
It
real quick
passes.
that tomorrow we have two students flying out with Miss Andrea Winchester and Miss Candace Powers, who qualified for the national JAG competition. We just I'm hoping that next board meeting, we can have our STLP students come and share. We had a big celebration about our STLP kiddos and what they've achieved at the state level. And so I really would like to get those on there, but just be in prayer for our JAG students that are flying to Utah tomorrow. I'm very jealous. I would move to Utah, just saying. It's awesome out there. So they're going to compete nationally. So that's a really big opportunity for our kids.
Okay. Approval of the middle school JAG memorandum of understanding. May I have now this is for the middle school. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion carries. Bear with me since I changed the numbers here. 6, 5. The next item is approval of the intent to participate in the community eligibility provision through the Kentucky Department of Education School and Community Nutrition. Ms. Housekeeper, do you have any comments on that?
That is just our opportunity to participate in the free breakfast and lunch program, which I would say that everybody would agree that that's very important for our students. So we definitely want to get that submitted. We have to submit that yearly.
Do we have any questions on that? May I have a motion for the community nutrition program?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
There you are.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. And the motion carries. Approval of the 2026-2027 salary schedule. You've been given this information.
You want me to?
Do we have any questions? You want to?
The salary schedule is just like this year, so that's one answer. It's the same as this year. And the only difference is that I have proposed a change to get our certified staff to 185 days instead of 186, because we have students 171 days, and we have them doing all these extra things, so it's like get us back to the KTRS requirement. So that would just be 1 day per every certified, and then other than that, it's the same as this year, only we went through and changed like checked all the math and all of that, but it's the same.
May I have a motion for the approval of the 2026-2027 salary schedules?
Motion.
A second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. And the motion carries. Approval to go into executive closed session for the purpose of I don't have all that written down on this one.
For the,
I can tell them.
yeah, just say it.
For the purpose of discussing the evidence for the superintendent evaluation and also contract. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay, and the motion carries. Thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate you. I'd like to have a motion to move back into
Open session.
open session.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
And the time is 8:09, and we came out at 8:08. You'll need that later.
All in favor?
What time did we go?
All those in favor of us moving back into open session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those opposed? The motion passes. As stated, the purpose of the closed session was to provide evidence for our evidence for the superintendent evaluation and discussion of contract. No decisions were made at this time, so we will move this, further discussions on this to the May agenda. Now we will go to the consent calendar and the monthly financial report. I'm assuming, Dalton, do you have anything that you'd like to report on that? No? Okay.
We just gotta vote on it.
Then, oh, that's right, I'm sorry, this is the consent. Okay.
Long night.
Pardon me?
Long night.
Yes, long night, you're exactly right. You have been given this information, the items on the consent calendar, the financial report, treasurer's report, monthly balance sheet, and the March orders of the treasurer and fundraisers. So you were given that information earlier? It's in your folders,
so
yes.
From now on, we're gonna make sure that it's printed and in your folder so you can see those monthly cash and bank balance and all that.
Okay. So, therefore, I would like to have a motion to, for the passage of the consent calendar, which is the consent items.
I'll make a motion.
And a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same, and the motion carries. All right. Committee reports, taxes, Dalton?
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, we're good. So for the month of March, we collected 32 bills totaling $17,145.69. We collected, prior to March, 1,437 bills totaling $1,163,000, or $1,163,139.33. So total collections to date for this year, or for this tax year, as of March 31st, we've collected 1,469 bills totaling $1,180,285.02. We still have 10 exonerations totaling $14,721.15. And as of 3/31, we have 288 bills outstanding totaling $115,667.70. As we stand compared to last year's 2024 tax year, we have a tax collection percentage of 84.18%. Last year at this time, it was at 85.04%. So we decreased our tax collection by 0.86%.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for him?
Nope.
Thanks, Dalton.
I've
Thank
pulled his ear enough. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
no,
pull
you're
it.
fine. I will give kudos to Paul and his crew for helping us get out delinquent tax bills. We've got a couple of those today, so I appreciate it.
Just to update the board, I think we're taking a new approach to collection on the delinquent tax bills. It is substantial over the years, and we're really going to become more aggressive in our efforts to collect
Yep.
those bills. And make it easier for people to pay.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still waiting on Beth from Clover to work through those options. Whenever she gets back with me, I'll let you know.
So let's make sure everybody is clear.
Yeah.
We are working on an opportunity for taxpayers to be able to go to our website, click a link, and pay their tax bill. so that they're not having to go get cash out of the bank, drive and find wherever the tax collector is, pay them, get a receipt, and all of that. I will also say that, Paul, you have no idea what you've done to Dalton, but whatever work you all have done, every time he gets a check, he comes and waves it wherever I'm at, and is in great celebration. He's like, look at this one, we got this one back, so.
Yes, as soon as I get those tax checks, we have a remote deposit capture machine, so I can go ahead and deposit to the bank right there. It's great.
It's great. Yes.
Thank you for working on it, both of you.
Yep, thank you.
Carrie Ann, staffing updates?
Not many for this month. We have hired a middle school girls head track coach, a middle school softball assistant coach. We had 4 resignations: director of pupil personnel, high school assistant basketball coach, a part-time daycare worker, and a full-time daycare worker. And I'd also like to give a monthly staff ADA update. We have not done that in a little while. So our district average is 98.38.
Excellent.
And our school average for this year is 94.94. We're still hoping to raise that. Obviously, that is still very low, but it's working, so.
And what is it for the staff?
94.94.
No, that's for the students, right?
No, that's school.
Oh, that's for the school.
Yes, and then our district staff is 98.38.
That's great.
Remember, district includes bus drivers, custodians,
Yeah.
cafeteria, all of
Yes,
that,
and then our school is our instructional aides and our teachers, essentially,
and administrators.
and administrators.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any board reports? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same. And the motion carries.